If you're trying to learn Japanese, stop and listen to what I have to say. For those who don't know me, hi, I'm Rach, and welcome to Rach's Next Chapter. Today, I thought I'd get on here and talk a little bit about learning the Japanese language. So obviously, going from English to Japanese is quite hard. The main thing being is the sentence structure. So in English, we have what's called a subject-verb-object structure, where the subject comes first, the verb comes second, the object comes third. Where in Japanese, the last two are flipped, so it's actually subject, object, verb. You need to rewire your brain to structure your sentences differently. So that's the first thing that you need to learn. The second is hiragana. Start with hiragana. Master hiragana first. That is your bread and butter glue of Japanese. Second is katakana. Katakana is all of your borrowed words that never existed in Japanese. They pop up all the time. Third is kanji, or Chinese characters. Now, there are thousands of kanji and you could spend years and years trying to learn them. The Japanese do. You just need to master even the first 103. Mastering those will get you somewhere in the vicinity of a daily conversation, being able to read a news article, that sort of thing. So very important. Now, do as I say, not as I do, because I have not learnt kanji yet. I'm still very much a beginner. I'm on here to help you not make the mistakes that I did. So when you first start learning Japanese, or any language really, there are a lot of materials online that you're going to want to dive into. You've got all the apps, you've got Duolingo, you've got Renshu, you've got things like Jumpo Speak and Gliglish, you've got all of your online course material, you've got textbooks, you've got all sorts of random free material. You've just got to focus on what works for you. So for me, those apps like Bumpo and Jiglish and Duolingo, they're really for passive learners. And if you're just a passive learner, that's great. But if you've got a goal in mind, you're going over to Japan, you're going to go on a working holiday, you want to go and get a job there, or you just want to converse with someone at an izakaya, and that is great. But it's not going to work if you're a passive learner learning on those apps. You've got to have a structured set of rules for yourself. When you study, you have to put them into blocks. So the first thing I would focus on is at least 15 minutes of learning hiragana. Start with hiragana, the rest will come later. So put 15 minutes a day into learning even just one line of hiragana. Start with the a, I, u, and move on from there. The second thing is do 10 to 15 minutes of listening immersion. So whether that be here on YouTube, you listen to a beginner podcast in Japanese. There is a creator, I'll pop them up there, they have an amazing videos, they are great, they're who I subscribe to myself. I listen to them all the time. So listening comprehension is very important, and try to listen from multiple different sources as well. The one source, listening from the one Japanese accent, is not going to gain you fluency because of course everybody speaks differently. You'll have regional accents and dialects that you also may come across as well. So listen to multiple sources. Your third is grammar. So grammar is super important in the Japanese language. The Japanese language is super contextual, and learning grammar is very important for beginner learners because you just essentially can't grasp the language without those verb conjugations particularly. And learn your language in context. Now what does that mean? Learning in context means not just learning random words. You learn through making sentences. So again, you can use all sorts of different tools for that, but if you try and form sentences, say you have a list of words, you have a list of your verb conjugations, you have everything you need, just start making sentences. If you have to use romaji at the start, please do, it's very helpful. A lot of people will tell you not to use romaji, but if you're a learner like me, you need it. You don't memorize this stuff very easily, and that's fine. Use your romaji. It is a very useful tool. So we've gone over what's important, hiragana. We've learned that your verb conjugation is extremely important in Japanese. We've learned that listening to multiple sources and listening immersion, very important. What I like to do, I go full immersion. which means anything I scroll past, I'll subscribe or follow to, because then that'll come up more. I'll go onto YouTube and I'll listen to, even if it's just 15 minutes a day of listening immersion. When I'm driving, I'll drive and I'll listen to J-pop. I'll listen to Japanese music to try and get those listening comprehension skills up, see what I can understand, see what I can piece out in that music. So it's all very important. If you have to listen to anime or watch anime, do it, but pick your daily life. Slice of life is what they call it. There's a few good ones that I found. I'll just pop a list here. They're really good because there's simple sentences and it's just a slice of life, everyday conversations. If you have any questions, please pop them down in the comments below. I'll try my best. I am still learning myself. So this comes from a very much a beginner's point of view. And I'll leave you with this last thought. Pick one way to learn, whether that's textbook, whether that's apps, passive learning, Duolingo stuff, whether that's listening to it, conversations, videos, but don't pick all of them. What I do, that listening practice conversation stuff, very important. And then I use flashcards. Flashcards are amazing because it brute forces you into learning that language, and that's what works for me. Thank you for listening to this video. I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you for listening to Rach's Next Chapter.